Good morning, my wonderful friends. Megas with you on a beautiful day in Asha, and I am beyond excited about today's message. My friends, I promise you this. If you stay with me to the end of this, you will understand all the mysteries of the universe. We're going to go all the way back in a short time, so I'm not going to draw this out. I'm going to get to the point. We're going to go all the way back to the pyramids of Egypt, all the way up to present time, talking about the power that we use in our modern technology. And you're going to see it's all the same because there's one divine order behind it all, and the math hasn't changed from 3,000 years ago till today. We're using the same math and technology, and I'm going to show you how you can use that in your life, my friends. And I'm going to teach you how to tap in to that power, into that order. And I used to worry about trying to get people to the end of my messages because usually I build the case so that you have understanding and reason, and then at the end I'm able to deliver the message in a way that you can receive it. But you know what? I've learned not to worry about it. For those who are meant to hear this, you're going to get this today, my friends. So I got a lot to cover, so let me get to it quick. I was in vision. I go to a place that I call Samadhi, and it's between awake and asleep. And it's a place where, remember what we talked about yesterday in the Tao Te Ching, that a learned person is not wise, and a wise person is not learned. A good way to understand that, think of like Einstein or Tesla. They didn't get their ideas from a book teaching old Newton ideas, right? They turned off all the stories that they had heard. They sat down the books. They plugged up their ears from hearing from their teachers. And what did they do? They said they went inside. Do you remember? He would hold his keys in his hands and he would go to that meditation place between awake and asleep. And when he would start to doze off, he would drop the keys, he'd wake him up, and he'd write down his equations. My friends, each and every one of us can do that because we all come from the same order. And my friends, I want to show you what I saw in my vision. So it was this grid right here, and there's 8 dots, and I was inside of this grid. So there's 8, 8, 8, and in there is 64 dots all together. And I was right here in the middle of it. And my friends, I experienced, I could feel that God life. I felt invincible. I was complete power, complete freedom, unconditional love, a complete peace. And my friends, I knew that this is the perfect creator's perfect mind. This is what we call Asha, but it was it was put out to me in an equation that I could actually be in and involved in its order and its harmony. And my friends, then I was shown the mystery of it all. The angles of the pyramids are in this equation. The very angle on a crystal is in that equation, my friends. And Spirit started showing me that everything was tied together. And you can take it all the way to today. We have 32 bits or 64 bits in our computers and our phones. And if you look right here, half of it is 32. The other half is 32. And here's where the magic begins. You want to be able to do the magic of the Egyptians, of Thoth, of Jesus, of Zarathustra. You have to understand this simple harmony and order. Even the 3,000-year-old I Ching, this is an exact example of that, my friends. It's the same math because it's the mind of God. And as I was doing the math in here, I couldn't find the number 9. No matter what equation I did, there was no 9. And Spirit took me right here, and he showed me that we are the 9, where the two angles, the two pyramids come together. And that's the magic, my friends. That's what all the masters taught, the two becoming one. So you have the 32 becoming the 64. And today with our modern technology, you see a lot of phones with 32 bits, right? And they're going to 64 bits, which gives you more RAM, more power, but it's so much power we can't really even use it with our phones. Our technology hasn't caught up to the power that we're getting. And so what Spirit was showing me here is when the two become one, we get that RAM, we get that power, we get that force that we can start to work in the magic and miracles. And I've told you the stories, my friends, of transcending time and space, going in spirit. You know, my favorite story is that one where Spirit took me to the bottom of my ex-wife's driveway, and I was able to put up a protection shield that kept my son from going out into the street. And I was going out of time and out of space and doing what is apparently supposed to be impossible. But when the two become one, when you become the nine, you start working in the magic of Thoth, of Jesus, of Zarathustra, the original magician, my friends. And if you can start to understand this simple order, and so that's what I want to talk about today. That's great, a lot of numbers, what does it all mean for me in my life right now? And that's what I'm going to try to break down for you. So what started this was I opened up the Tao Te Ching today to the 64th verse, which instantly made me think, of course, of the vision that I had, and it all started to come together so beautifully. So I want to read from this, and then we're going to break it down even further. So it says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. A tree grows from one seedling. A tower starts with one brick. My friends, let me tell just a quick story. I don't want to lose any of you because this is too important, but I feel like I might be not giving all I can if I'm worried just about the ones that might leave me. So I'm going to give my full message here. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. This is some of the best advice I got, and it was from my dentist. I used to hang out with this kid, wonderful friend of mine. We had fun, but we were young, we were wild and crazy. We would party together, we chased girls together. And then as I started getting older, his dad was my dentist. And I was in the chair and I said, so what's up with my old friend? And he told me that he had become a dentist. I couldn't wrap my mind around it because I was still a wild idiot. How is he a doctor now? And I said, I told my dentist, oh God, I can't even believe it. I look at where I am right now and I think of him being a doctor. How does that even happen? And he gave me basically this advice right here. Just take the first step. Okay, so what is the first step for him? He had to go to school to learn how to be a dentist. And so he told me, what do you want to do? Narrow that down and then just take the first step and then take another step. And that's exactly what this is saying right here. A giant tree grows from one seedling. A giant tower starts with one brick. My friends, today, do something to take that first step. It says, let me grab my readers real quick here. The writing's getting really small. Okay, what is at rest is easily managed. What is not yet manifest is easy to prevent. The brittle is easy to shatter. The small is easily scattered. Act before things exist. I want to stop right there for a minute. Act before things exist. Manage them before there is disorder. My friends, we have to act before there's disorder in our life. This can be physically, like before you get cancer, stop smoking. Before you get obese and unhealthy, stop eating. My friends, taking action. But this is going way deeper than that, my friends, because we know from what we've learned all through 3,000 years of history to today, what seems impossible is possible when it starts right here is an idea. And this is trying to get us to start holding the right ideas, because what we vibrate, what we believe, is what we create in our lives and our world. So we need to act before it exists. How do we act? And again, my friend, this card we've been pulling, the Four of Swords, the meditation card, going inside, is becoming more and more clear all the time. We act by our vibration. That's the most powerful thing. We talked about this yesterday. The human superpower is our minds, because everything comes out of mind. And I know it's hard when you live in a world that seems solid. Everything around us, the walls, the floor, our body seems solid. But my friends, if you can get to that place of samadhi between awake and asleep and see everything is energy, my friends, vibrating in a form. You are conscious energy vibrating in a form, my friends. It's all a simulation. And don't let that scare you. Let that excite you, my friends, because we can create a beautiful heaven on earth. We can create that utopia, that asha, my friends. It says a tree that fills a man's embrace grows from a seedling. A tower 9 stories high starts with 1 brick. My friends, there's no accident in these things. I see the number 9. A 9-story tower starts with 1 brick. The 9 is the most powerful number, my friends. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step. Act and destroy it. Grasp it and lose it. The sage does not act and so is not defeated. What does that mean, Magus? Let me read to you what Jesus said. Hold on 1 second. Let me tell you what the Christ said about that, because it's trying to get us to understand that we act with our energy, that our weapons that we fight with, they're not carnal, they're not real swords. It's there's thoughts, it's ideas, it's vibrations. That's what we create with. All right, listen to this. This is what Jesus said. If they ask you, what is the sign of your Father? Say to them, it is movement and repose. My friends, we are moving. We are powerful. We are working in these dimensions and magic that people can't wrap their minds around, but we're doing it in repose. We can just lie there. Now, I'm not talking about sitting on your couch waiting for a check of money in the mail. That's not what I'm talking about, my friends. You're still out doing things, but you're creating it first in your mind with the highest thought of Asha, with the perfect creator's perfect idea. Then you're taking action on it. But our first action, our first step, is to pour out our vessel. Get rid of all the lie, the illusions, the druge that has come from the matrix religions and politics and society. And we pour that out and we go inside and we find that perfect order, Asha. My friends, this is inside of every one of us, the perfect order. And they've seen it all throughout history, 3,000 years back to right now. All of our technology runs on these numbers, runs on these angles, these crystals, my friends, the same as the pyramid power all that time ago. Let me finish reading here. It says, people usually fail when they are on the verge of success. So give as much care at the end is at the beginning. Then there will be no failure. It's kind of like you hear most of the car accidents happen like a mile from people's home because they stop really concentrating on driving. Oh, I recognize this. Oh, I know this. And they end up crashing a mile from their home, my friends. It says the sage does not treasure what is difficult to attain. He does not collect precious things. He learns not to hold on to ideas. He helps the 10,000 things find their own nature. My friends, you don't need to be grasping for things, panicking, worrying that you're not going to have provision and protection, because we create that from within. If we'll find our own nature. What is our own nature? That's what it really comes down to. Can you answer that for yourself? Do you know who you really are? What you're really capable of? My friends, it's easy to get caught up, and it's kind of designed that way, isn't it? To keep us bound. You're so busy. You got to get up early. You got to go to school. You got to get home and do your homework. You got to do your chores. And they just keep you busy all the time. You get older, you got to do your job. You got to, it's just always something where you don't have time to go inside. But don't worry about it, because just on Sunday you can go to their church and they're going to read you out of their text and tell you who God is, who you are, what you're capable of. And my friends, I've seen so many people get to the end of their life and they're all, what was this all about? I was fortunate enough, again, because I take the time to meditate, to go inside and hear from God. I don't want to hear from a preacher or a teacher or a politician or some Schmo Joe at the water cooler. I want to hear from God. And He put inside of us a divine spark, a book written inside of every one of us, an owner's manual. It's right there, my friends. That's where the book is. And you can find all the mysteries of the world. But you got to take the time to go inside. And do you want to know what I found? What Spirit told me, and it went against everything I was taught as a child. He told me, I am all good. No evil comes from me. He said, I have been misrepresented as hating, warring, killing men, women, and children, doing horrible, evil spirit things. That is what mankind in the world religions has painted God to be. And guess what? Man will never rise above his idea of the highest principle of good, God. We have to break out of that. We have to pour out our vessels and let Spirit fill us with the highest truth, Asha, my friends, with that perfect energy. We want to be able to become the nine, to bring that power in as above, so below, to make the 2-1, to get that ram power. You have to become the 9, but you have to know how to become the 9. Here it's so simple. Do you know what it is? It's Asha 13. The original word, the original word, order, math, is that all good comes from the Creator and no evil comes from Him. We restore God's image as all good. He has no attributes of the evil spirit. It's unconditional love, peace, joy, kindness, freedom, health, all the good that we know is good. And we let those old stories and ideas go of a monster God. And we receive the image, restore His image. Now guess what happens? We model that. How do we model it? By our vibration. We become unconditional love, peace, joy, power, freedom. No matter what's going on around us, we create the atmosphere. We create form and matter just like our daddy. And my friends, this is when you start working in magic and miracles, because you just became the 9 and the 32 just became 64 and you have the power to do anything. Let's pull a card. My God, I hope you guys are excited about what messages we have been getting lately. It has been absolutely powerful. Oh my God. It's the Emperor card. Look what's all over his throne. Is this a sign? They're rams. Rams all over his power, all over his throne. This is telling you, my friends, it's time to rule your world. How do you do it, my friends? You go inside to that divine spark. You emulate the heavenly good Father, Ahura Mazda, the wisdom being. You become that, my friends, and we're going to change this world back to Asha, the perfect creator's perfect idea. Get excited, my friends, because you're waking up to who you are and what you can do, and I see amazing things in your future. I love you, I love you, I love you. Share this message with someone. They might not accept it, but it's going to plant a seed, my friends, and we know great big things can grow from a little seed. I love you guys so much. Hold the highest thoughts today and know I love you, I love you, I love you.